Dan, can you hear me? So I'm not sure how to get you into the camera. Let me see. Okay, I think I got it. Let's see. Oh, there you go.
Did you invite Caitlin?
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we're good. I know we were missing 2 people, but I don't know.
So we need to invite Caitlin.
Caitlin. Okay.
So did you, hang on just a second. I think maybe that will help. Yeah, if you can invite Caitlin, that would be great.
Okay, because I did
I'll text
send
her.
her. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I just sent her a text and said that you're going to invite her now, unless you already have.
I did already, but I'll send it again.
Okay.
And I'm guessing, what's her email though? Lisa, it has to be the CF.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
So course tools groups. It is. I'm finding it right now. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
I think that's the only one.
Yeah, it's the CF one.
CF.
Or it has her name kind of in it, I think.
Yeah.
But it's the one with gmail.com, right?
Yes. No, and the one I have, it's the Outlook.
Okay, so then let me go back through my email. And we'll find it that way. Hang on just a sec. Okay, I've got it.
Okay. Okay.
So the one you have is an Outlook one, you said?
Yes.
Okay, good. Try that one.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. See. Perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
I sent that one to her too, so but I don't know.
Okay, I'll text her.
Is she texting you back?
Not yet.
No. Yeah, I tried to text her too and she didn't answer. So
Okay.
So what do you think? Should we start or should we just wait for her?
I just got a message that says, okay, oh, she still isn't getting it. Try refreshing. I'll tell her to try refreshing her email.
Does she has an Gmail account maybe?
I'll ask her. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find, because the old emails that I have for her say the Outlook. I mean,
The Outlook. Yep,
yeah.
that's what I have.
Yeah, because they're all just the Outlook one.
Yep. That's the only one I have too.
Yep. So we can start if you want.
Okay. So should we start with the prayer then? I don't know who did it last week because I was a little bit late, but I hope you didn't do it.
Do the prayer?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't mind. Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day. We're thankful for the blessings that Thou hast provided for us. Father, we humbly pray that Thou will bless us as we meet as a group, that Thou will please open our minds to the things that we're talking about, and that Thou will guide our conversations. Father, we love Thee, and we ask that Thou will please bless those that are not with us, that they can rejoin us next week. We say these things humbly in the sacred name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, so I did push the thing here to record this. So as soon as we finish, is it gonna go directly to my YouTube channel?
Yeah, it should.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, hey, we want to have something to put in that discussion, you know? But,
So I hate the new version of this YouTube channel thing. I like the old version. It was so much easier.
I know.
I mean, this was ridiculous to change it.
Yes. And then, you know what? To be honest, I use Zoom a lot. And I think it's so
I
much
just got
easier.
used to Zoom.
So
I know it. I was like, oh, I get so sick of, I don't know. It's just, it's they change on me. And I am not a creature that likes change.
yeah.
Just stop. So, we were talking the last time about you being from Florida. Well, my cousin is from Florida, and she's part of Florida that just had that massive hurricane.
Oh, yeah. How's she doing?
Her husband, I mean, because she's about my age, and her husband was just put in as branch president. And they're very overwhelmed. They have a whole bunch of people staying with them that have been displaced because thankfully they weren't. They probably
Wow.
won't have power for a couple of months.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Months, a couple.
yeah. School has been canceled indefinitely.
Wow.
I know it.
I just feel bad. I mean, I remember going through that last year,
Yeah,
and it was bad. I mean, we didn't have electricity for 1 week,
yeah,
and
oh,
I
yeah.
remember school was canceled for a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. So, and don't even mention about doing my online homework. It was impossible.
Right?
So, yep.
Yeah. So she's got like 5 kids. She's like, it's like being a pilgrim again, trying to keep your kids entertained.
That's right.
That's rough.
So,
That's rough. So,
well,
okay, let me see. Poor
hope everything
Caitlin.
goes well, though. So,
Yeah, I'm still not. Let's see. You have an iPhone. I'm gonna see if she has an iPhone, and then I'll FaceTime her, and hopefully we can all just
okay.
do it that way.
I don't think she has a face an iPhone.
I don't think she does either.
So
Yeah.
what's wrong with her? She can't get into the.
Yeah, she says, I'm not getting it. Sorry, my internet is not the best. So.
Oh, okay. I think she was in Canada, wasn't she? Is she in Canada?
No, that was Lisa.
Oh, Lisa. Okay. So.
Yep.
Okay.
So we can just get started,
okay.
and hopefully, if she joins us.
Okay.
Soon.
Perfect. So I'm just gonna give you a little description of the case that we had last week, or this week, I guess. And it talks about Thomas Green, who was promoted to this new position, and I think he was criticized by his boss, who was, what was his name? Hold on, I have it right here.
Oh, there she is! Yay! Yay!
Oh, yay! Perfect.
Hey, sorry guys.
That's
No,
okay.
it's okay.
We're just glad you're here. We just had prayer, so.
And we're just getting started. And I was like, man, I hope I did this thing right, But anyways, so we were talking about the case study that we had this week. How Mr. Green got promoted pretty quick, and his boss Davis. I think he was a little bit mean towards him, but I can understand why he was like that, because they went over his authority per se, and I can see why he was kind of being against Mr. Green here. But what do you guys think about the case? What was something that stood out for you guys?
So I at first was like, Mr. Davis is a big jerk, but then I'm reading and how he's trying to coach the guy. I'm like, I kind of think this guy was put into a position way over his head. I really feel like, and I don't feel like he was reciprocating or what am I trying to say? He didn't really take the criticism all that well. I mean, you can take criticism and be super mad about it, which he was, or you can go, I'm obviously not doing something right, so I need to change it. And I think he just got a chip on his shoulder and went from there.
Yeah, I think so too. And the same thing happened to me when I was reading the case. I was like, man, I was behind Davis all the way. And so I started reading about Mr. Green and what was he doing and all that kind of stuff, But at the same time, I was like, oh, I see why Mr. Davis can be a little bit upset too, So anything else you guys want to add?
Well, yeah, mine was kind of the same. Like, well, I don't know. I always try and approach a situation and see how like both sides would feel, and so I can see Mr. I think it was Green coming in and trying to fill this job because obviously he wanted it, but then At the same time, Mr. Davis, when he was explaining and trying to talk things through, he might have been able to do it better. But from what I read, it just kind of, to me, it seemed like Mr. Green was like, well, I didn't really care about it, so it wasn't that important. And I know if someone would do that to me, I'd be a little irritated.
Yeah, and I think one of the key issues there, is that Mr. Green didn't have a really good communication with anybody in the company, and I think he was working basically by himself and doing all the things, I mean, he didn't give any reports to his boss, Mr. Davis, and I think that was a big problem for Mr. Davis. On top of that, they went over his seniority, So I can just imagine being in his position, and say, you know what? First of all, you picked the guy that I was supposed to pick, and then second, he's not communicating with me, and he's not listening to the goals that we want as a company. So
we are having this almost exact same problem at the store that I work part-time. We have our general manager, who's, the head manager of the whole store. And then we have our front end manager, who she should be in charge of hiring people for her front end. Well, the general manager went above her and hired somebody that he knew and just put him into this position, into her department. And it's not working out very well. And we keep telling the store manager, we're like, he's not doing his job, and he keeps making excuses for him, And I'm like, he's been here for a few months, and he really should know how to do this by now. So yeah, it's been super, super frustrating for our front end manager. She's like, I didn't even have a choice with this. And yeah. So.
And it can be frustrated though, if you think about it,
Yeah.
And you're like, why is he in that position, and not somebody else,
Yeah.
And another thing, that I can think about, the reason why Mr. Green is having this problem is because of Shannon McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one who hired him. She was the one who gave the job to Mr. Green. Why do you guys think she did that, to give the job to Mr. Green instead of giving the chance to Mr. Davis to choose his own candidate, basically?
I thought about this, and I was like, why would she do that? I mean, I know that she saw potential in him, and I mean, she liked him because they kind of had that camaraderie, of going to the same school.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, what was her thought process of putting such a young kid into this position? And I really couldn't come up with a great idea. I mean, I didn't feel like it gave us enough detail as to what her thought process was. And the only thing I could think of was that he got on her good side and she really liked him, but I don't know.
And I think at the beginning, when they were talking about Mr. Green, his background kind of thing, he did pretty well where he was, and then in the past and all that kind of stuff, So I think one of the reasons why Shannon McDonald gave him the chance, is because he was doing pretty well. And I guess she didn't notice what was, behind the scenes kind of thing. She didn't know how he communicated with other people and his coworkers and all that kind of stuff. That's what I think, but I don't know. So.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of in the case, it says when she's talking with him in the beginning that he has a fresh perspective, and that she was concerned about his lack of managerial experience. So that's the only thing I can think of, is maybe she wanted like a fresh kind of ideas, but maybe she could have done it better instead of putting him at the head, maybe just putting him in the group and someone with more experience kind of teach him what he needs to do instead of just kind of tossing him in there. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's a question, and it talks about, if you were on Shannon McDonald's position, will you hire Thomas Green? In my opinion, I would have said, you know what, I would get with Davis, the boss, and Shannon McDonald together and say, okay, what do you think if we give Thomas Green a chance? What do you think can he do the job that he's supposed to be doing? I think they should have sat down together, before she make that decision by herself. But that's just my opinion. So, what do you guys think? Will you guys hire him or?
I agree with you wholeheartedly that I think that Davis should have been brought in on the decision instead of gone over. I may not have hired him for that specific position. I'm kind of with Caitlin. I would have maybe put him in, but not at such a high level. I think he needs to prove himself. I mean, he's in a senior position, and it says right there in the case study that most people don't get to that position until after years of experience.
Yeah.
And he really didn't have any experience there. He was a salesperson, which he did great. But yeah, no, if we're just talking about specifically would I have hired him for that position, no, I wouldn't have.
Thank you. What about you, Caitlin? What do you think? Will you hire him?
I don't think so. I definitely agree that McDonald and Davis should have probably communicated about it more. And if Davis felt comfortable, then maybe if he was willing to work with Green and Green was willing to work with him. But me personally, I probably would have picked someone with a little more experience and let Green earn it, and then maybe in the future he could have that position.
Yeah, those are really good comments. So let's talk about a little bit about Frank Davis, the boss. How would you describe him? The way I see him, he was goal-oriented kind of guy. He wanted to put goals and he wanted to reach those goals. And I think he was kind of straightforward, putting those goals and say, this is what I want, and I think we can make that happen. With Thomas Green, when he saw those goals, he didn't believe, or he didn't want to do those goals. He thought that they were out of reach. But to me, Frank Davis, he was a goal-setting kind of guy to me, and even though it doesn't say in the case, but imagine so organized and straightforward, and trying to do the best he can for the company, and his team, kind of thing. What do you guys think?
I would agree. I think Frank Davis, I think he's a great, well, maybe not great. I mean, that might be strong, but I think he's a good manager. I think any manager should set high expectations. I mean, set high goals and, expect more out of your team. I think if you set the bar lower, then you'll get lower results. And so I think he was goal-oriented and he was driven and he was detailed. I mean, he wanted things detailed. He wanted to know where his people were. He wanted to know that his clients, they were being taken care of. I thought he did a great job.
And I think those are some of his goals, like where was his clients, where are his customers, and all those little points that you were talking about at the end there. I think those were some of his goals that he wanted to accomplish in this group. Caitlin, what do you think?
I agree. Like he definitely was goal oriented, and I think to me part of their conflict, in the case it was saying how Green's job was Davis's before anything. So before they even started, Davis told him I'm expecting you to do this, this, this. So he told Green what he expected of him. And so he had those details. It's not like he didn't tell him.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, and it brought up things that were kind of happening with Green at the same time, and so it's kind of like he was told what he needed to do by Davis, and I think Davis handled it well.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. And then, what do you guys think about Thomas Green? I think he tried to do his job. You know, I think he was trying to do the best he could, but he didn't have the communication skills. I think that was one of his downfalls. You know, and then the other thing is that I don't know if you guys remember when they were in the meeting, he kind of Thomas Green kind of called on his boss. You know, in a way that he wasn't agreeing with what his boss was saying. You know. And you kind of don't do that in front of everybody. You know, if you want to do that, you kind of, you know, go on in a separate room, the two of you, and talk about it, you know, and see what agreement can you come together, you know, and to work better together. But I think Thomas Green was trying to do a good job, but his communication skills were lacking, basically. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think that his communication skills were lacking, but I also think, I mean, he was in over his head, and which you know, I think Shannon McDonald thought he would be a little over his head, but that's why she said, please, you know, ask for help. But sometimes I kind of think maybe he was a little prideful or insecure, maybe that's a better word, to ask for help. I mean, he thought he knew it all, and that he was just, you know, thought his way was the best way. And I think that, yeah, I think he had such a lack of communication that he really should have been saying, you know, how do I do this? And it's okay. I think it's personally, I think it's okay to say, why? Tell me why you want it done that way. I mean, does it make a difference if I do it this way versus that way? I mean, why? I think a why. Sometimes we need an answer to the why, so it gets into our head, you know, how things work.
I agree. Yeah. So
yeah,
and oh, go ahead, Caitlin.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say that definitely communication, and I think Green, like, I just think he wasn't used to working with people. Like he went about his own agenda. He was trying to get the same things accomplished. It's not like he wasn't trying to do his job.
Mm-hmm.
He just was forgetting that sometimes you have to be a part of a team, I think. And he was just trying to do it himself instead of thinking about those he was affecting in his work environment as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. One point that I really like about what you say, Danny, it's about asking why, you know, and I don't think that's wrong. I'm one of the persons who, if you know me, I'm going to ask you why are we have to do it this way and not the other way, you know. And I don't see it wrong to say, you know, but there's a way to say it too, you know. I mean,
exactly.
So you're not going to be in front of everybody and say, like, why are we doing this, you know, why not my way, because my way is the correct one, you know. And believe me, at work and at church, I'm the one who's asking why all the time, you know. So
I mean, we as human beings, we need to know the why. I mean, it's just like my kids. I mean, there's sometimes when my answer to my kids needs to be because I'm the mom and I said so. But when you're raising kids, you tell them not to touch that stove. Why? Well, it shouldn't be just because I told you so. It needs to be because it's super hot. I mean, I just think that that's how we're guided and we're directed, and that's how we're trained, is by asking why and getting the response and the feedback. I think it opens up a wonderful dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So what do you think about it? So since we covered this case, what do you guys think about the politics in that office? Can we say they're playing politics? What do you guys think?
I don't know that they're playing politics so much as just think there was a lack of communication. I mean, I just think that, I actually think it starts from Shannon McDonald. I think that she failed to communicate with Davis on who to hire and the why, and why she thinks that they should be hired. And then it just trickled down, it just trickled down from there. But I don't know how much politics is into play.
Yeah, when I was reading this and I was reading about Frank Davis, I was like, man, there's a lot of politics with this guy. But I didn't know the whole story, until I finished reading and I'm like, oh, I see. I mean, yes, he was upset because they went over his authority, And when I was reading that, I'm like, well, that's why he's playing so much politics here. But now that I know the story, I'm like, I think he was just trying to do the best he could for his department, his group or whatever he was working with, but I do agree with you. I don't see a lot of politics in here, but communication skills, from everybody. So, well, and not even everybody. I think, what's his name? The boss.
The Shannon McDonald?
No, the other one. Davis. I think he was the one who was communicating the most than anybody.
I thought so too. I was like, I really wanted to go into this thinking that he was a big jerk, and he really wasn't, because he brought Green in, and instead of saying you're doing a crappy job and I'm not going to guide you, he says you're really not doing a great job, and these are the reasons why. I mean, he could have just says you're doing a lousy job, go figure it out. But I really thought that he put some thought into it and was trying to guide him.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what? And maybe a lot of people won't like his style of guidance, kind of thing, But I don't see it wrong for somebody up high, to come and sit down with you and say, you know what, you're doing this wrong, and let's do it this way. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. Caitlin, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was explaining the things that were not being done so well and things that he could do to do better, make it better. Like, I think there was a certain order of things that needed to happen. And even though Green brought a new perspective, a fresh Donald wanted, there's a way to present that in a time boss wants you to do. And you can have ideas, but you need to also respect the ideas of the superiors, the people that are above you. And I feel like at times he didn't do that.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. So as we know now, Davis, he sent an email to Shannon, right? Do you just remember that, when he was kind of, I don't want to say complaining, but he kind of was, saying, hey, Miss Green is not communicating with me. He's not hitting the goals. If he doesn't step up, he's going to be, we should terminate him, right? And Green knew that because, Shannon taught him to come and talk to him. What do you guys think that Green should be doing now? Like, if we were in his place and we see an email from Shannon saying, hey, I need to see you in my office because this is what's happening, what do you guys think he should do?
I think he should take a good, hard internal look as to what Davis has pointed out to him. Has he fulfilled, his obligations to correct his actions? And I mean, honestly, I don't know. Maybe he's too, it's been too long and they should just, demote him. But yeah, I think that he needs to take a good look, and he needs to be honest. He needs to take a good long look at what's happened and what's, been said, and be honest.
Yeah, and if I was Thomas and I saw Green and I saw that this was what Davis thought, and it was concerning McDonald, I would try and, well, number one, change and try and help, like, fix whatever I was doing wrong. And if I was still having that problem, maybe talk to Davis himself in a respectful way and say, I need help trying to figure this out. You've done this before. You know what you're doing. Can you, like, show me what I need to do? And maybe he'll be able to do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But do you think that Green is humble enough to say that to Davis? Say, hey, you know what? I need help. I need your help.
Maybe not yet.
I think if he wants to keep his job, he'll learn humility.
Exactly. You know, and maybe he goes into the office kind of faking, you know, so that he feels bad and he needs help and that kind of stuff. But he's going to realize, you know, and like you say, he needs to sit down and realize that it's either he changes or he's not going to have a job. So
I agree.
Yep. So do you guys think that Green can salvage his situation? Can he save his job? Can he save his relationship with his boss and even with Shannon now, you know, and everybody in the company? I think he can, you know. I think if, like you, Danny, were saying, if he sits down and realizes that he needs to have a better communication, better companionship, you know, with everybody there, I think he can be safe, you know, and keep his job. But he has to learn to listen. He has to learn to communicate, and he has to learn how to work with the team. That's what I think.
You know, and I think it depends too on how patient Davis is going to be. I mean, like at this point, I would be like, get him off my team. I'm done. I've tried. But if Davis is a saint and super patient, you know, Green can go in and say, I've really fouled this up. We've gotten off on the wrong foot. I need help. Could you take me under your wing, show me how to do this, and, you know, help me out here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like you were saying, like if Davis is patient, and then if Green can humble himself, then I think he can salvage the situation. If they can work together as a team like they were originally supposed to do, I think that it can be fixed. But if Green isn't willing to admit to himself or to others that he is struggling with this position, then maybe he needs to kind of have a hard look at reality and realize that he's not ready yet.
Right.
Yep. So, okay, so we've been talking about this case for a while now. Let's go put it into our own personal lives kind of thing, you know? So what can we learn from this case that we can apply in our workplace, in our lives, at church, at school, and so on? I think one of the main things that I got from this, you know, is communication and the importance of communication. And no matter where you are in what stage in your life, you know, if you're a student, a parent, whatever it is, communication it's really important. And I think it can be number one, you know, for you to be successful in the company, at home, at church, anywhere, you know. So.
Well, what I gathered from it is it just gave me some ideas on conflict resolution too. You can't go at somebody with both guns blazing and tell them what a terrible job they're doing. People have thoughts and opinions as to why they do certain things, whether it's, you know, they weren't trained properly, whether they thought cleaning this way instead of that way was better. Just go at them, get their opinion as to what, you know, what they're thinking and why they do the things they do, and then coach them. I really feel like anything in life can be a coaching experience. It doesn't need to be a conflict. You don't need to turn it into a nasty battle. It can be a coaching experience, but also you need to be coachable. You need to go into it not feeling attacked and on edge, but maybe be receptive to other people's thoughts and ideas.
Yep.
Yeah, and like what I got from this to apply to like my life would definitely be the communication, because like you were saying, it can be communication at work or at home, or just in our everyday lives that can kind of make it easier. Because sometimes there's a lot of miscommunication just in the world in general. And just to kind of make things more open might make it easier. And then, I know I'm grateful at my work right now. My boss is very open. So, like, every time we have a project or something, afterwards we have a discussion, and she asks if there's anything that I think that she could change to make it easier, or like if there's anything that I can change to make it easier on everyone else. So it's a really open communication. I don't know. Just reading this makes me really grateful that there's an open communication where I work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. And it's nice that people who haven't even read this case, as you, Kenny, were saying about your boss, they realize that listening to their workers and communication is pretty important, and it is, though. I mean, we see it in schools, at church, and everywhere. So thank you, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that? So do you guys want to hear the end of the case, how everybody ended up?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So basically, after that meeting that Shannon and Green had, Green took offense against his boss, right? I mean, he was pretty upset about, what happened. And he started sending emails and getting reports and projections to, to create some kind of information, With this information, he was able to create like little groups kind of thing, in their offices, to the point where it was announced that Frank Davis was moved to another position into the company. They didn't know where, but Green basically won the battle, by getting everybody in his side, and then, supposing Davis, how bad of a guy he was, and all that kind of stuff, So, but the interesting thing, though, is that by June of 2008, Green announced that he was resigning from his position. So at the end, I don't know. At the end, I think Green was just kind of mean, selfish kind of guy, So, and then everybody, everybody in the company, when they saw that Frank Davis was moved to another position in the company, they took that as Green did something to this guy, So they took it against him, kind of thing,
Wow.
And get people, because of that. So,
yeah.
But it's kind of subtle, So
I didn't see that coming.
I know. So yeah, according to Mr. Green, he resigned because he was gonna go get an MBA. So
hope it worked out well for him. Hope he learned to be coachable.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, is there any more questions, guys, that we have, or are we good?
No, you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So, and I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I was trying to send the email, and last week, Danny, when you send the email, it didn't look anything like mine, and I'm like, I hope they can get into this video thingy. So
yeah, I don't like the new setup, but it gives you an option to go back to the classic sometimes. But I think they're going to do away with it, so we need to learn how to do the new update of this Hangout thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, guys, thank you so much. We don't have any more questions, and just to let you know, next week there's another case write-up.
Yay!
Mm-hmm.
So much fun.
I know. You know what? I'm sure you guys do this too, but I spend so much time on those cases.
It's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable how much.
I took a while.
Yes. So
yeah.
Anyways.
So.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and then we'll talk during the week.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye, guys.